Language has the power to both reflect and shape the individual and the collective identity. This can be expressed through written, spoken, audio, and visual mediums which ultimately aid to shape these individuals' their self-perception. The poem, This Is Where It Begins, created by Melinda Bobbis, is in context with the importance of culture and the modern migration experience. Comparably, New Accents by Young Yu is another poem that explores the effect on a new language on an individual, whether positively or negatively. These textual forms most effectively explore how language is used to reflect an individual's sense of both personal and community identity. A close analysis of Bobbis's poem, This Is Where It Begins, illustrates the notion of a universally experienced connection to oneself. A sense of belonging is revealed through the evidence of the motif, eyes, lips, and the umbilical cord. These body parts are symbolically significant as they Moreover, the author explicitly implies the importance of the umbilical cord as it is something that is fundamental for connection and growth. When the umbilical cord is finally restored, this indicates that individuals can develop themselves before finally being. The motif of the body parts also highlights the importance of human functionalism, as it is already understood that these parts are essential to life. Thus, the audience are ultimately challenged to reflect on their own purpose. As a reflective poem, Bobbis allows the understanding of their own personal language, native to the Philippines, in the introduction of the piece. It is carried throughout the poem to reiterate the belonging to more than one culture, elevating the sense of community. Although, the author also suggests that there is a sense of loss of connection to oneself, found in the repetition of, at 6 years old, perhaps 5. It is particularly contrasted to expose that this belongingness to their native culture is diminished as, perhaps 5, places uncertainty in their voice.
Come da venga vedi I love you Papà l'americano
This theme is similarly found in Young Yu's New Accents. where U explores a negative impact of new languages on an individual. This can be through the exclusion within a community where language barriers are met and can unfortunately lead to being marginalized from society. The author comments this through the juxtaposition of speaking their language and my anguish. It is clear that although speaking anguish has created the difference in identities and emphasized ultimately, this is where it begins, and new accents are both successful poems that explore the impact of language on. I have chosen to write a comparative essay on Melinda Bovis's This Is Where It Begins and Young Yu's New Accents to understand how different texts explore different perspectives of language and its impact on the individual and collective identities. A reflective understanding of my multimodal presentation is that the monotonous voice I have now placed my classmates to hear was incredibly awful.